The aging process is complex, sometimes turbulent, and there's sometimes milestones in your life that really bring it home to you that you have lived a few years, you have aged. And it came through to me this year when my son turned 40. It was just such a shock. Like, where did those years go? How did that happen? I didn't notice it, that I was getting older at the same time. And I want to talk today about this, how to have the relationship with middle-aged children, children that are in their 30s, 40s, and even older. If you're in your 70s, you may have a daughter or a son who's just turned 50. So it's complex, but I think it's an opportunity for putting our lives into some kind of perspective as we get older. My name is Margaret Manning, and I'm with 60andMe, and I want to thank you so much for being here today. It's just a pleasure to have your company, and hopefully this will be an interesting conversation. Now, our show today is brought to you by International Living. International Living is a company that I really enjoy working with. They are a company that is helping people to think about how to age abroad, how to retire abroad, and provides all kinds of information, wonderful resources, and they're resources that are practical and down to earth. So if you check out their website, internationalliving.com/60andme, you'll see the different reports and programs that they have available for you to consider. And if you are interested in one of their reports, you can just ask them to send you the link. There's no obligation. It's totally free. But I want to just thank International Living for offering this information. It's very, very useful if you're thinking about retiring overseas. Okay, let's talk about the aging process in adult children. Now, as I said, my son turned 40 this year, and it was like, 40? 30 had somehow been acceptable in my mind, but then it was like 40. That's he's grown up now, and it's an interesting internal dialogue with myself about how did that happen, and how you get tied up in the roles that you play as a mother or as an aunt while the children are growing up, and you don't realize that you're actually aging along with them. You're just doing your thing as a parent or as a family member. So Anne Richardson, one of our bloggers, is in her 70s, and she has a daughter who just turned 50. So she wrote an article on this kind of shock and awe that she felt when her daughter passed 50, because it was like, okay, when they were young, how much do you remember them playing in the pplayground and just trying to keep them safe and, educate them and inspire them to be creative, balanced, happy little children. And, you didn't think, you're aging at the same time. And then, of course, there's the teenage years where you're pretty occupied with just keeping everything under control, having a good dialogue with them, helping your kids to make good decisions and have values that, really are going to work for them. But of course, they never do what you think they're going to do. They always end up in a different world, studying something at school that you didn't think they would, enjoy, marrying someone that, totally didn't expect, and maybe traveling to other countries, living abroad, or, having children of their own. It's just that, how do you deal with that kind of expectation that you might have had as a mom when they were growing up, and then just what they've turned into? And hopefully they've turned into the people they want to be. Not the people you thought they might be or that you want them to be, but they are themselves. They are their beautiful, also complex and wonderful selves. So there's no real terminology, as Anne mentions, about aging children. Do you call them middle-aged children? Do you call them adult children? And how do you relate to them? I think the first thing, of course, is to accept that they're no longer children. All the things you did your best. Yes, you may have been through rough times yourself. You might have had a divorce, separation. You might have lost your partner. You may have made decisions, at crossroad moments in your life that just didn't turn out the way you thought, and you wished you'd taken the other path. But all the time, if you had children, you were bringing them with you. They were seeing you through your emotions, through your changes, and hopefully that gave them a strength. It gave them a perspective on life. We always try to do things, I think, for our children the opportunities that we didn't have. Many, many women in our 60andMe community lived very, not poor, but may have been poor, but, sort of not rich and famous and wealthy lives. They lived very ordinary lives. Maybe their parents struggled themselves. And so we always wanted more for our children. And I think that, whether that turned out to be the case or not, it's now beyond your control. As they get older, they are their own people, and it's just hopefully doing what is good for them. Now, I also know that there are many women in our 60andMe community who have children in their adult years, 30s, 40s, and even older, who are struggling. This is not an easy world for some people. This is, some people learn the skills, hopefully, that you taught them when you were young, when they were young, to cope with this kind of chaotic and contradictory world. But some young people and even older people don't do that very well. And there may be physical problems, there may be emotional or mental issues. And so I think that makes it even harder when you feel like, as a mom with children in your 30s, 40s, that you need to be helping or supporting, and that's challenging. But I think it's important for your own peace of mind and your own good to find the things that make you happy, knowing that they're doing their thing. They've got their own karma, if you want to think about it that way. They've got to work out their own life with diligence and with attention and with the skills you gave them, hopefully. The problems come up at every age, right? I mean, think about the challenges that you went through when you were in your 20s or 30s or 40s. It doesn't come easy. Maybe you've lost a parent. I mean, maybe that's really challenging. I mean, I lost my mom when I was 20, and it's been, a present or a lack of a presence in my life ever since. And that probably has some impact on my boys. So it's, and it's funny you call them boys. It's an English thing. You call your children boys. My boy is my 40-year-old boy, but you just do it. It's just kind of part of the language. But adult children. And there may be things going on in their lives that went on in yours. And there's nothing that you can do but to share your wisdom, hold them tight, tell them that you support them in whatever it is that they're struggling with or they're trying to accomplish. And if they are doing okay and they're really happy, celebrate that. Tell them that you're proud of them. Tell them that you just are so happy that they are doing the things that they want. We all stumble along in this life and doing the best we can. And we have to encourage them to ride out the rough times like we did, and to be happy when they do, or understanding and supportive when it doesn't. There's a Chinese proverb, I think, that Anne mentions in her article. I encourage you to read it, by the way. It's a beautiful personal story about her own situation, but it's all of our situation. But this Chinese proverb that she mentions, which is, mothers are as happy as their least happy child. I think that is so true, that it doesn't matter whether they're 20, whether they're 15, 20, 30, 40, or older, you are still feeling their emotion, their pain, their happiness. It defines who you are. And that's part of being a mom, or if you're not a mom, an aunt, if you've got nephews and nieces. This is, you're woven together. And I think that, I hope, and Anne says this too, that you're happy with how your children are living their lives, and that you trust and feel with all your heart that they're doing what they want to do, and that it's good for them. So, have your children hit any important milestones, like a 30th or 40th, 50th birthday? Have they had children? Perhaps has that been a milestone for you that was really, woke you up to your own age, that you're maybe 60 or even 70 or older? Do you worry still about them? Are there any concerns that you have? I'd love you to tell us your story. Tell us, whether your children have had any of these milestones that have had an impact on you, and whether they are happy, in your opinion, how you feel about that. Share your relationship with your adult children. I just think it'd be very useful for a lot of the women in our community. And as always, thank you for sharing yourself of us. 60andMe is our channels are everywhere. If you don't know, we've got YouTube. We're on Facebook, of course. We have, our website, and every day we send out a newsletter, which has got links to the articles that we publish on our website. I do videos almost every day that you'll find up on our YouTube channel. We have our Patreon community, which is a private VIP community that where you're given a bit more freedom to be more relaxed and personal, more private. And then, of course, we have our Facebook supporters group too. We have a new shop. I must mention that. It's 60andMeShop.com. There are some really cool products there, and there's new surprise things coming. So stay tuned, keep checking it out and see the new things that we're bringing out. But all these things are for you. And I want to thank you for being here, for your support, and look forward to just sharing it all with you as we continue this journey. Take good care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.